So Parrish Arnaldy, it's so good catching up with you.
Hey, how you doing, my brother?
Now here we are, late April in 2022. What is the men's fashion industry, and what are some of the fashion trends that are taking place right now?
Okay, well, as you know, COVID has been still prevalent, but actually it's coming by the wayside now. And we do have a lot of shoppers specifically looking for product. And what's popular right now, because people are trying to go back to vacation, cruise wear is very important. Colors, pastels, linens, cottons, fabrics that are very comfortable and easy to wear, specifically with men in terms of easy fit, slim and trim fitting suits. One of the things I can say is that the attitude of the consumer is really wants to get back out of there. You know, they've been, had cabin fever for the last 2.5, almost 3 years. So they're looking to get back out of there. So there are a lot of clients I'm seeing really want to get back to normalcy. So, and now they're planning their vacations. They're planning weddings and graduations and things like that. So I see a total influx, of a lot of people wanting clothing, but well-tailored clothing. And also a lot of them had their COVID weight and they're still challenging with it. So they have to buy kind of a new wardrobe, so to speak, until they get back to the normal weight. But what I find most interesting enough is that people, numbers are not, or dollars are not really what they're focused on, but they're focused on quality.
Yeah.
And that's when the problem lies, because a lot of that we're finding is that the food chain to getting the clothing into stores is a challenge.
Yeah.
So like a dinosaur is like a white dress shirt or a blue dress shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that as consumers, we understand that, but as retailers, we're trying to fix the problem. We're trying to get back to that where we have a flux of really good product and a lot of good assortment. For me, my business in terms of custom clothing is really picking up a great deal. I was just in DC over the last 2 days, and I had a client who bought 20 shirts for me and 2 custom-made sport coats. And then another client bought 9 shirts and a sport coat and some khaki trousers. So we do see customers who really want to get back and want to start dressing. They really want to get back in the swing of things. And I think this pendulum is swinging more for summer 2022.
Yeah.
And in 2023, I believe will be strong and we'll be back to our normal form in terms of dressing and getting back to where we used to be before post-COVID, basically.
You had mentioned that you are the customer you just serviced ordered sport coats and dress pants and khaki pants. What's the suit market looking like these days?
Well, I can honestly tell you the suit market is coming back. I do have a great deal of customers who are required to go back to the office. And so now they're going to the closet and finding that the suits are not fitting like the way it was before, because they haven't been into a suit for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Almost 12 to 36, 3 years. And so now they're coming in and they're kind of refreshing the wardrobe, so they're looking what's new, what's hot, what colors are there. So I think it's important to understand that, we are getting back to a sense of normalcy. And it's going to take a period of time. I think it'll be 2022 is kind of the pendulum, and 2023 is we'll be back in the full swing of things. So tailored clothing is very important, because a lot of men are going back to the office and they're required to wear a suit, to go back to work, to interview, just those basic things that we took for granted in 2019, just post-COVID, is like coming back. So it's coming back strong.
Yeah.
We just have to be more patient. And I think a lot of times what we're not used to is kind of the way everything slowed at a pace and it's stalled, and everyone's looking around finding out what's going on. So for me, the challenge has always been stay in front of your customers, offer good product and service, and it's going to come back. It has to. It's like the stock market. It's got to, whatever goes up, it's got to come. Whatever goes down, it's got to come back up.
Right. Yeah. Right. Now, just talking a little bit more about what suits are going to look like. Talk a little bit about the silhouettes. Talk a little bit about the bells and whistles, whether we'll see more 2-button, single-breasted, double-breasted.
Okay.
What the button stances are going to look like on the sleeve. Talk about those.
Well, the classic
details.
suit is always going to be the 2-button suit. The silhouettes in terms is going to be very current. What's going on? This very tailored look. Higher arm slot, more tapered in the body. The more classic traditional suits for the slightly more mature customer is going to be classic, flat front, 2-button jacket, double vented.
Yeah.
In terms of customization, that's where it comes into play, where it's customized for you. So Off the rack is totally different from custom, as you already
Right,
know.
absolutely.
So customization basically is 26 different measurements. You select the fabric, the style, and it's going to be customized to your specifics. Off the rack, depending on which retailer you're shopping at, they're going to have probably a broad array. It's coming back.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
for example, say hypothetically you like the Ted Baker fit, which is classic Ted Baker. He does this very fit that's very current.
Yeah.
And then you have the Peter Millar, which is a very traditional fit.
Yeah.
Then you have the Canali, which is that classic fit, but also that beautiful fabric. So
Fabrics,
150s
yeah.
and 160s fabric.
Exactly.
So I think depending upon where you go, in terms of whether it's from your favorite retail store or to a clothier and doing customization, you're going to have the quality that you want because, like I said, it is coming back. So it depends upon what you want. And I always gauge it based upon what the customer wants and his body. His body's going to tell me everything I need to know when I'm measuring him. So if he wants that very slim fit, if he doesn't fit that, I'm going to give him a very tailored suit.
Right.
If he's slim, I'm going to give him that very current look. So it's
Right.
all based upon your body, but keep in mind, like I said, things are changing. And things are changing where basically what you're going to find is that there's going to be a lot more assortment in terms of retail spectrum, but more importantly, you're going to find a lot more in the custom clothing field.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
So I have fabrics coming in that my Loro Pianas, my Dormés, my premium fabrics that by far customization is where it needs to be, not off the rack.
Talk about the fabrics in terms of thread count, firstly, and secondly, the weights of the fabric and how they transcend from season to season.
Okay, traditionally, fabrics start at 100s, 110s, 120s, 130s, 140s, 150s, 160s, up to 200s. Personally, I think the 100s, in my professional opinion, the 100s up to about 130s is your workhorse suits you wear every day.
Yeah.
When you get into the fabrics like 140s and 150s, they're more of your designer fabrics or the more premium fabrics that you'll find in the better end fabrics. Really what's it about is having a good rotation of suits. So I don't think one is better than the other, but a suit that I wear between a 100s to a 130 more every day, where the suit is 150s, 160, that's that's my safeguard suit. That's the suit, seal the deal suit, so to speak.
Right.
When I'm going to meet that very high-end client or networking, I want to have that look. I want to have a very clean, crisp look. The other suits are my workhorse pieces. So if you have enough in rotation, nothing's ever going to wear out.
Right.
But keep
right.
in mind that if you have enough in rotation, then you wear the workhorse suits when you need to and wear the more better suits when you seal the deal suits is what I call
exactly.
them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And with that, the customizations, functional buttonholes, pick stitch, all those accoutrements that make a custom garment is what custom is. I mean, it's going to fit you. The shoulder line is going to be cleaner, higher arm slot, natural shoulder, as opposed to a more structured square shoulder that you typically find in some of your garments that are maybe not of better quality, but more affordable price range. So I don't think one is better than the other. I always tell clients when I deal with them, I don't shop for my own pockets. So you give me an idea where you want to be, and I try to put you where you need to be.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what will summer going into early fall look like for Parrish Arnaldy as a professional custom clothier?
Okay, well, the summer, like I said, its business is picking up a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
I already have orders in. I'm waiting for it to come in. I've actually have orders that I have to deliver right now. Sport coats, suits, and things of that nature. I have, a lot of things I have to deliver. And what I anticipate is that we'll find more men with the linen and the cotton and the short sleeve shirts.
Yeah.
But as we move toward fall, which happens, the season for us is in August, we're going to start seeing the cashmeres and the heavier, denser 8 to 12 to 15 ounce suits, which are denser for the colder weather.
Yeah.
But you're going to have patterns and prints, stripes and plaids, these kind of more colorful, fashion-forward pieces. But we also have the staples to keep it safe where you want to be safe.
Right.
But you have the play stuff in your wardrobe where you want to kind of put on the dog. You have that available to you. So I think it's just a matter of just where you want to be. But to answer your question, I think the pendulum is swinging back to normalcy. And I think the demand, because people have been so starved for clothing and to be dressing, that we're going to get there. And it's a slow walk, but we're going to get there.
Yeah. Now, what are some of the supply chain issues? How have not being able to receive your goods on time, how has that affected your business?
I don't necessarily think it's not be able to supply chain issues. I think it's more of just time frame.
Yeah.
Like where
Yeah.
typically it would cost me 4 to 5 weeks, it's like 6 or 8 weeks.
Right.
Because of where the manufacturing aspect of it, the factory, because of the COVID has hit some of the factories,
Yeah.
and if they've taken they've taken people away from the factory that can work certain shifts, they down to 1 or 2 shifts.
Yeah.
So that's where it slows up the process. So anybody that I'm working with, I'm giving them the truth to them. I'm telling them, listen, if you place an order and if you don't need it right away, if I can get it for you right away, but I want to give it to you right away.
Exactly.
So give yourself a nice window and a cushion so I can buffer it in. So when I get it, I can deliver it to you maybe 2 weeks prior to when you need it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we have to look at. We have to be very sensitive about that because I think that we don't control supply chain, and I think that consumers understand based when they go into stores that we don't control supply chain. Whatever's on the shelves is what we have. We want to sell you. I want to sell you more, but if I can't readily get it, then I can't give it to you.
Right.
I can't deliver
Right.
it, and I'm very honest with that. I'm very honest with that.
Let me take you off the selling floor and tell me about what's the status of tailoring these days?
Tailoring is the most extreme component of custom and just retail clothing because as a salesperson you can sell it, but the tailor has to deliver it.
Absolutely.
And the most important thing that I found working in this industry for almost 25 plus almost 30 years is that you have to be good at your tape measure and measuring and putting the person in a specific garment and fit that works for them. The tailor can only work with what you give him, but more importantly, if you put the customer in the wrong piece, then it's more of a challenge. And now we started from scratch, and that's a credibility issue.
Yeah.
Whereas custom is a different issue. Where essentially what we're doing, we're taking physical body measurements, fabric selection, style selection, payment, and then, hey, I'll give you a call, send you an invoice, and I'll give you a call in about 6 weeks when the product is in transit, getting to me to bring to you to do the first fitting. But tailoring is by far the most important because I think that a lot of times people don't understand what tailoring entails.
Yeah.
And what that essentially means is that it is delivering the product to fit your body.
Right.
So when people come in and they got questions about this or questions about that, the tailor's going to answer those questions because he actually is going to romance the garment to bring it to you in fruition the way you want it.
Right.
You can't rush alterations. You should not rush alterations. It is something that's imperative to the garment and to the person wearing it because a well-fitting suit is the most important thing a man can have on. An ill-fitting suit is even worse because you can have a suit that looks good and tailoring can be so-so, but a suit that's inferior and then ill-tailored looks horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. And we've seen this before. And also basically, suggesting and telling the client what he should be wearing, how it should fit. A lot of people don't know.
Right.
They're guessing about how it should fit and guessing how it should be. You're the professional. You have to lead them where they need to be. And if there's kind of a tennis match going back and forth, then basically my professional opinion is this. You can do whatever you want. But my professional opinion is essentially this is how your suit should fit. This is where you should wear your pants. Everything is personal preference.
Absolutely.
But keep in mind, once the tailor's marketing you, he's asking you questions like, how do you feel about the jacket? Do you want the jacket opened up a little bit if it's a little snug in the back? Do you want it slightly more tailored? Would you want to expose a little bit more sleeve out of the bottom of the jacket? So there's different things that basically once you put on the garment's automatically going to talk to you, and it's going to visually talk to the tailor, and he's going to suggest things that make sense to bring it to your specifics.
Right.
But you have to let him lead you, and you have to ask questions and trust the process that he's bringing the garment with love and care that it's going to be tailored to your specifics.
Right. Now I have to ask you about fitting because that's where you come in. You're going to do after you pick out all of the bells and whistles that's going to go into the garment. You personally will do the fitting.
Yes.
And talk about that aspect of the business.
Well, the fitting by far is the mechanics of doing the fitting is the mechanics.
Yes.
That really is where you have to be very precise, like a surgeon. You have to get all the measurements correct. You have to put stance, posture, body, everything has to be spot on. Because remember, what they're essentially doing, when I'm giving these measurements, and then I'm taking the pictures and I'm sending it to the factory, essentially based upon never meeting, they're looking at numbers and a picture.
Exactly.
And they have to create the garment around that. And these are people that, some of them are hand cut, some are laser cut. but essentially they're going by the measurements I give them.
That's right.
So the measurements have to be precise. So I believe, like carpentry, measure twice, cut once.
Cut once, exactly.
Cut once.
Exactly.
So I measure you because I want to make sure the measurement I got is correct. So if I measure you once to take that measurement, it may not be slightly right. But if I measure you twice and I got the same measurement, that's the measurement we're going to go with.
Exactly.
That's the measure we should go with, basically, essentially.
Yeah. But Parrish, thank you so very much for your time. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to talk about another aspect of the men's tailored clothing business. But again, man, I want to say thanks so much for the opportunity to speak to you today.
Thank you so much for having me again. And like I said, all you have to do is reach out, and I'm more than happy to sit down and discuss things with you.
Now, where can folks reach you?
You can reach me at Parrish Arnaldy, the clothier. You can reach me on Instagram. You can also reach me at 917-575-6226, which is my mobile number. You can also email me at pctparrish@gmail.com.
Parrish, again, thanks so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, sir.